Hello, it's me, LHMusic. Welcome to the Everyday Agenda video podcast from YouTube. So we're gonna get started with my Everyday Agenda podcast from Angel Sound Productions and Spreaker Studios. So we're gonna get started, shall we, with I guess that last Sunday's Taco Sunday at Resurrection, and so is this grand opening over I guess at Omaha Central Library. So who knows? Could be still us. And don't worry, I'm gonna make a quick announcement after the end of the show. So you just have to trust me about this for us to be concerned about this one. And then we're gonna get inside a little bit of history of Earth Day and getting to know what's his face? Oh yes, R.J. Moeller, using his Hollywood skills, and he has a brand new movie called The Cost of Conviction, call sign Courage, and that is the Matt Lemire story. And so this is what happens to be huge about this one. Plus, Rachel's thoughts, talk about her testimony. Tuesday, a little bit of Rachel's thoughts and wrapping things up because I know that Zozo Baristas doesn't have a study room for me, but I think this could be my last one. Well, who knows? Give us civilized about this one. You just addressed us. So, anyways, one quick announcement because I'm moving over to Do Space Podcast Studio, Do Space second floor, and I can see this video studio, so I can do that a little bit later on. A little bit, you guessed it, about that video opinion about that. So we can do, LH Music's World and video blog, and of course, this my Everyday Agenda podcast from video podcast from YouTube Studios, and take it from there. So it should be fun, but who knows? Could be civilized about this one. So who knows? So we got 3 minutes left to do this. So no could be civilized about these things. So, anyways, see. So you just addressed this. So who knows? Could be civilized. So I got to take a quick timeout and hit. So take a 2 minute, break where it is. But then come right back. So this will get started with Everyday Agenda podcast. So come right back. Yeah. Okay. Let me get my little speaker. This is your brain. This is your brain on this. And I got a little bit of speaker. Ah, there it is. Anyways, so we gotta be ready. So, anyways, let's get this show in a row showing for my Everyday Agenda podcast. And so it's the video podcast from YouTube Studios. So it's gonna be huge. Anyways, let's do it. I hope you can see it with my hands. And here we go. Everyday Agenda Podcast is a presentation of Angels on Productions and Spreaker Studios and video podcast from YouTube Studios. Okay, from South County House in the heart of Omaha, Nebraska, at 14th Jones Street, it's Everyday Agenda, and here we go with Matthew West. Kick the theme song, shall we? Oh, wow. Anyways, LHMusic, because I'm here for the next 60 minutes, talk about what I did for this week. I'm talking about all kinds of stuff that I do and all that stuff, so trust us. Anyways, great show here today as well. Kick, we're gonna do something about this one. Anyways, it's gonna be Taco Sunday last Sunday at Resurrection, and it's gonna be huge, wonderful. It was wonderful. And all the fixings, all kinds of stuff, and because I'm on a rush mode, eating nachos after this no rehearsal. And you guessed the Trinity Episcopal Church last Sunday. And I'll explain this if you know what I'm talking about. Trust me. And don't forget, last Sunday's you get the Omaha Public Library, and the Omaha Public Library is got a central library at 72nd and Dodge Street. Oh gosh, I'm here to tell you this. It's so huge. It was a big, huge library with 3 stories high and all kinds of stuff with all kinds of books and computers, and it's gonna be wonderful. Anyways, I'll explain to that as well. And don't forget, talk about the history of Earth Day, which you already know about that as well. And of course, getting to know you segment about producer R.J. Moeller using his Hollywood skills to tell the kind of the stories of the media wants to ignore this. Oh gosh, it's called you guessed it, the you know who? That's right. Here it is, the cost of conviction, the Lawmeyer story, and I'll explain that as well. Part of getting to know you segment. And don't forget, only Rachel's thoughts and lots more. We'll make a quick announcement, and you know what I'm talking about. So who knows who's about. Anyways, let's get started, shall we? You guessed it. I think you all know by now about Rob Reiner's son. Son, you all know by now about these two stories. All know by now about Rob Reiner, son, and I have no clue whatsoever about this because his son is in an exact moment that he almost learned. And that's why he shared his essay about his parents' horrific deaths. If you know what I'm saying, according to page 6 website. And yeah, this is why Jake Reiner just broke his silence during his parents about Rob and Michelle Reiner's tragic death. Just remember, he just found out about back in last year about this one. So who knows who survives? And I'm not gonna read all of it, but who knows who survives? Because I was at Focus from his Substack essay. It says I was in Union Station at a celebration of life for one of my best friends, Christian Anderson, who died in October. That's why Jake Reiner just wrote this, and you have no clue whatsoever. And this is his essay about this one, according to the Substack website. As far as we're concerned, he continues with this essay. Says the 45-minute lift ride from downtown from the west side, and it ends, and it goes on and on, just like clockwork. So who knows who this is like? And because I did post it on my Blaze Nation website and all that stuff because this is his essay, and you know why? Because it's so absurd to me. So absurd to me. But you might think so. That's why he eventually referenced by Nick Reiner by saying that his brother at the center of the tragedy. And that's what Jake finds out about the people asking questions about Rob and Michelle's death and some of those answers about this. So, who knows who's civilized about this? Well, I guess you ought to know by now about that as well. All right. Did you know that Storage Wars on A&E? My dad just watches it, and I have no clue whatsoever. So, also from according to page 6 website, uh, it's kind of at the center of it all. So, who knows who selects about this? If I can find a story, because oh, by the way, this 34-year-old penned a devastating essay. Could be a huge living nightmare for Rob Reiner's son Jake to try to describe it. Yeah, Nick just being at the center of parents murderers. And who knows who selects. So, did you know everybody knows that Storage Wars, a reality star posted on Instagram, could be a huge tragedy about this one. So, who knows who selects for this final shocking about Storage Wars. And so here's my observation. Could be Darren Sheets' shocking death, and could be a huge process about this one because he's seen this before, smiling just before a huge photo, sudden death at arrival. So that means Darren Sheets just who passed away at the age of 67. And here's how it happened because the reality star just died. She inflicted a gunshot wounded in the head. So that found his person at his home. And yes, that see according to page 6 website as well. And TMZ just be the first to know to report this because and that's why he suffered a heart attack back in 2019. And you have no idea whatsoever. So who knows? Get civilized about this one. So who knows about this one? So that's the least of I can say about that. Okay, here's my observation. Did you know that you guessed it, Venezuelan dictator, I guess that Nicolas Maduro has been landed in hot water, and that's why Ken Van Dyke, he was 38 years old. For this reason, for the Blaze Media, and he does this with he guessed it, Poly Market that he created a huge account beginning, and he and Van Dyke just begin with making more of the dozen bets related to this raid, and you have no idea about this one, about Poly Market on social media, and this investigation is all that as well. I have no clue whatsoever. Well, you might know it now, but who knows what's less about this one. So trust us. Anyways, I got left. I got 5 minutes to do this. So who knows who's still left? Now, did you notice that you know him? That's right. Did you notice? Guess it. Let's see. Everybody believes that Helen Keller item just sold $1,000. Oh my God! I cannot believe my eyes and ears. But according to Blaze Media, it says many readers have been convinced that the piece of Keller's memorable, memorabilia could not be real, and that's why Keller just noted that she's being a deaf and blind humanitarian, educator, and writer who wrote 12 books. And that could be your latest craze to read a sale. But in fact, this hybrid of two separate collector items, you name it, rookie season about those top official cards that Helen Keller got signatures is just sold about all this. But what about those team players? Do you have any ideas about American heritage, such as Abraham Lincoln, Frank Sinatra, and Martin Luther King Jr.? Well, here's the thing. According to these top cards, cost $2,200, and asking for this $500 deal about one of those top cards back in 2009. So this is could be absurd to me about this, but you could even make this thing up soon as possible. And I meant to tell you this is gonna be huge. Trust me. Anyways, that's the story of it, you know, friend. And okay, so here's my worst nightmare about Hollywood. Just got inside $1 million in taxpayer money for this massive film. So what can we say about Warner Brothers? And so is Amazon MGM, and so is uh, CBS Paramount, and so is what can I say? Oh yes, Sony Pictures, like Columbia Pictures and all that. So I have no clue whatsoever. So here's my all that as well. Anyways, Homer Simpson. You might think so about the state of California just handing out boatloads of cash of the biggest money making studios in the whole universal world. But it comes down to this from California Film Commission are paying taxpayers for studios that rake in revenues. Could be a huge robust for this production that push diversity, equity, and inclusion. And you want to talk about dollars to donuts? Well, who knows? I'm talking about Homer Simpson and The Simpsons. In case you all remember The Simpsons on television, yes, on Fox television, goes on and on. But when it's over with, I have no clue whatsoever about The Simpsons movie Part Two. Could be a huge sequel to the Simpsons movie, and I have no objection whatsoever about this one. And according to California Commission, Film Commission on Twitter X says Earth Day is April 22nd, which I'll get inside Earth Day history a little bit later. A little bit later. And it says reducing consumption, refusing items, recycling, and all, utilizing green energy sources to bring into huge into storytelling. Well, everybody try to reuse and all that. So you can't be civilized about this one. So you just have to trust me. But who knows about this one? So who knows? Anyways, let's get inside our first segment, shall we? You listen to my Everyday Agenda podcast from Angel Song Productions and, of course, Spreaker Studios and YouTube Studios for this video podcast. So let's get started, shall we? And here we go. Okay, okay. You might think it's so smart about Taco Sunday, last Sunday at Resurrection, and to be used about this one. So that means after this church service, Jeannie plays the piano, going solo, and me and my resurrection singers, yeah, are leading it, and all the congregation knows about that, and that's why Michael wasn't here last Sunday because having Taco Tuesday could be Taco Sundays could be huge and about of all that. Because here is my observation. What have I told you? What have I told you that Taco Tuesday at my workplace, and Shannon just fixed me up about all the meat and all the cheese and of course black beans and lettuce and all that stuff. That's why she did it when I was coming upstairs, third floor. You guessed it, last Tuesday. But last Sunday, here's my observation. Why am I saying this? If Taco Tuesday became Taco Sunday, that's what Liz Kirschbaum just made that thing up. Well, guess what? You'd be surprised about this one. So, because after this church service is over with, because I rushed down, and so is my resurrection people having a huge taco Sunday, and I and I cannot believe my eyes and ears. And you have no objection whatsoever about this. And this is why it happens so fast. And you have no clue whatsoever about this. So this is why I try to grab my that box, put all the meat and all this chicken and shredded chicken and all the chips and put on top of everything else, and it's gonna be huge. Trust me. So so that's why I make it to go box. So who knows can be civilized. That means I'm on a rush mode for last Sunday's grand opening at 72nd Dodge for this one. So and you have no clue whatsoever. And that's why I sat down with John and so it's Denise and uh, eating wonderful tacos. That's why I try to make a huge soft taco and hard taco with all the fixings and all that stuff. So it's gonna be wonderful. And why? Because it's everything is having fun. And then afterwards, Reverend Tony just have a huge raffle about wine cellars, and and that's why Amy, yeah, that's what she missed Wednesday night rehearsal time last Wednesday, and for this opera. Well, I guess you ought to know by now. But here's my observation for you. This is what this. No, you here's my observation for you. You ought to know by now about all this, about all the tacos, all the fixings, all that stuff, because they're having selling raffles about these two windows, and yeah, of course you all know by now it's gonna be wonderful. So that means Amy gets a bottle of wine after this raffle drawing and all that. So that could be life challenging. Is it? Who knows? Who's the last? But you may not know about Taco Sunday, and you know what? Okay, and you know what I'm saying. So if I have Taco Tuesday next Tuesday, well, whatever. If Taco Sunday, do this all over again, probably sometime for this thing every single Sunday, but who knows? Maybe you ought to know about La Bamba tacos. You know. Oh yeah. Anyways, you listen to my Everyday Agenda podcast from Angel Song Productions and Spreaker Studios, and so is you know who video podcast from YouTube Studios. You might think it's so smart about grand opening, Dodge, so it seats of library. Okay, you might think it's so smart about last Sunday's grand opening of this big, huge building. And here's why I have no clue whatsoever about Omaha Central Library. It has three stories, and three stories in this huge building. Just remember that people who uh, does a little bit of construction, building work, and all kinds of stuff. Last couple of years, and who knows who's still alive. And that's why Do Space is at 90th and 4th Street in heart of Omaha, Nebraska, inside Milton Abrams Library. And here's my observation for you. You might think it's so smart about the force beam with us about the the library. Well, here's my observation for you, because everybody knows to welcome this new central library and has a huge diverse communities, to shaping everybody's city, and could be music, dance, and community traditions for this new exciting chapter about this. So this is what happens. It got a little bit of bigger, and as I seen this, and I did using my library. I did go inside after Todd drops me up around here, and I see this door open, entering and around, and I cannot believe my eyes in here. So take a look at this. Take a look. This is so huge, and it has all the books that you know to check out and all that stuff, and the computers all over these floors and all that. It's, and all the stuff. So who knows? Anyways, so this is why I get a new library card that I just everybody knows, and this is why I just did show you on my video opinion. You can see it on YouTube channel, and you know what I'm saying, on YouTube.com, and type in my search box Larry A.Hall Jr. And this is why I'm gonna. Here's what I show you for those of you watching on YouTube Studios videos. This is what I'm seeing. Yes, and all the drawings inside this card's called "Open Your World." It has the pin numbers and all that password, and you know all that stuff. So that's why I got my new library card, and this is why I saying goodbye to this. So who knows? Keep civilized. That I just saw it, and who knows? Keep civilized. So this is why I'm taking a look around and see all the computers, and I see this over due space second floor, and it's better than you know who behind the doors, and getting ready. Look at all this chairs around. Yes, and you see who knows civilized. And if you missed the grand opening like I do, Mayor John Ewing does the ribbon cutting, and others contributors, and oh boy, it's gonna be awesome. And what about all the artwork inside this big huge building about this? And you have no idea what everybody is up against about this one. So the library is so full of art, art paintings and all that stuff. Thanks to the artists. Who knows could be civilized about these things. So you just have to trust us about this one. So who knows about this one? And if, if you want to take a look around, and these kids are reading books and all that stuff, and get inside the computers about this one. So who knows? And you see this, do space, and do space, and upstairs second floor they have videos, they have they have video studio, and then podcast studio, which you know, oh boy, I cannot believe my eyes and ears. So this is why I explore every single floor of this brand new central library at 72nd and Dodge. It's right across from Kane's Chicken Fingers restaurant. As you guessed it, that's right. That's right, Mega Saber and all that. Well, so much for that thing, but who knows can be civilized about this one. But in the meantime, does it even get better than this about this? Could be everything else about all those readings and all that stuff. Readings because, well, I guess you ought to know by now about this, about can be civilized about these things, and you know, you're listening to my Everyday Agenda podcast from Angel Song Productions and Spreaker Studios, and video podcast from YouTube Studios. Yes. Have you noticed that Earth Day could be life challenging? Well, who knows could be civilized about these things. But here's a little bit of history called Earth Day, and it's something like this. Here's a little bit of history that you ought to know about Earth Day because last Wednesday, you have no objections to be civilized about this one. But according to Britannica website, because Earth Day is an annual celebrating honoring the achievements of this environmental movement and raising awareness of importance of this long ecological sustainability. And it's celebrating, yes, last Wednesday's Earth Day. Could be marked worldwide events and initiatives so they can promote conservation and collective action items of this huge issue. Now, take us back in time, back in the 1960s, and there are increasing awareness of this environment concerning Americans about this one, like this environmentalist and U.S. Senator Gaylord Nelson, to sought to galvanize the conservation movement through the creation of national celebration to end this. And to this end, Nelson has been efforting in this Congress, including passing the legislation that protecting the Appalachian Trail, and so is banning the pesticide of DDT. Just been hired Dennis Hayes, and he's a graduate student at Harvard University. So that means the public's emergency environment consciousness is in the order. So all the environmental protections in the national political agenda. You want to talk about politics? Here's your worst nightmare, because Nelson and Hayes tried to organizing the first Earth Day back in the 70s. Yeah, guessed it. And that's why environmental teach-in would be educated to participating of this environmental conservation. Now, these two gatherings are according to Washington, D.C., where the 10,000 people are assembled inside Washington Monument, and in New York City and across the United States has been 20 million people are participating. Them in schools, colleges, and universities are making single day protests in history, because you don't want to know about the Congress back in the 70s, and what about the Clean Act, an Endangered Species Act in 1973. Well, if I'm being a huge baby, no, don't go over that as well. But here's my observation: Earth Day goes global. Ask this question: why is Earth Day goes global? Well, you don't want to know about Earth Day goes global about all the 140 countries, and what about 200 million people? About, oh, well, who knows? It's some absurd about 200 million people in over 140 countries. And that's why Earth Day has been an international in scope. About this day is often marked about tree plantings, beach cleanups, and so it's demonstrating, you guessed it, educational lectures and all kinds of stuff. But here in this 21st century, Earth Days has been huge, gets huge of activities, and the themes are raising awareness of environmental concerns, especially a threat of global warming. Uh-oh. You talk about uh, ice cap polars, solar panels, and clean energy and all that. But what about Paris Climate Agreement? Well, that marks to the 50th anniversary celebration of Earth Day were so canceled, and all because of COVID-19 pandemic. You have no idea whatsoever. So here's my worst nightmare. I told you we have another 50 years of Earth Day, and it could be system about this one, so who knows who's civilized about this. But you have no objection whatsoever. And, and you have no clue whatsoever about this. But it doesn't take that long to get inside solar panels and ice cap, ice cap melting all over it. So is the polar bears and all that. But whatever happens the next 50 years of planet Earth Day, well, you might be surprised about. Yeah, trees. You're listening to my Everyday Agenda podcast from Angel Song Productions and Spreaker Studios. And so is video podcast from YouTube Studios. Okay, so here's my observation about getting to know all the signs of wonders and all that. And that's why filmmaker R.J. Moeller has a sense about people and pairing things about all the courage and all the signs about this one. So that means getting to know everyone else can be civilized. So you know, and so who knows can be civilized. Anyways, let's get started with getting to know R.J. Moeller and James Taylor. Please sing. Okay, so that means filmmaker R.J. Moore has some huge ideas to using Hollywood skills to tell the stories about, all this. Except the mainstream media has ignored about this. You have no clue whatsoever. But who knows about that? So that means it has a RJ has some sense about people and hearing things. That's what he be calling the connect. Dennis Prager and Adam Carolla. These two media personalities have wildly, I guess, that different skills, sets, and backgrounds. So that means Prager and Carolla just clicked in about, back in 2019 called No Safe Spaces. And you have no clue whatsoever. So that means you guessed it. Mueller has been since about yes, guessed it, about this new movie called you guessed it, Call Sign Courage, the Matt Lohmeyer story. Could be a huge documentary promoted by Twitter X own Elon Musk about this on the social media platform. Recalls this, you guessed it. That's right. That's right. You know who, and you know what that means about battle against the formation system. Uh, Take a look and listen. This from the trailer, and yeah, you get a sense of feeling about the Matt Meyer story. It has been, it has been colonizing of a former elite Air Force pilot, space Space Force commander, and feud about his controversial state against you guess the spreading of Marxist ideologicals you guess the inside the military, and yeah, you know the rest of it. Take a look and just listen to this from this official trailer from the movie. Okay, I'm not gonna play all of it, so you get the sense of feeling about that Mueller just he gets that all that because all is about Matt has decried the militaries, all that stuff, and all the social media and all that. So that could be life challenging. But you guess that Mueller has also produced this this documentary for Angel Studios called Live Not by Lies. It has been understood how his subject matter to fight to call out the military's Marxists turn matter to the film. Not everyone is so happy about this. So that means it has been all the documentary filmmakers. It has been attracted to the Heritage Foundation and all the others in kinds of film directed by Marshall Lee, who knows to be civilized about Apple TV, Amazon Prime Video, and other video on demand platforms. Because you could even notice about all this. And it takes about 10,000 hours about this one. Because right now on YouTube and Twitter X and other social media platforms, to share this his skills about public and all that stuff, and to make this inroad about all the documentaries and all that stuff, and you know everything else can be civilized, and everybody and that means the Trump campaign just found out about the fact about Matt Lohmeyer's story, and and it really makes sense about these things because getting to know everyone else civilized about R.J. Muller's filmmaking debut about documentaries and all that stuff, and you know what I'm talking about because everything is. So you could see it, the movie called Sign Courage. Could be a huge trailer. You can check this out for yourself. And my God, filmmaker R.J. Muller has a keen sense of things and all that stuff. Because getting to know R.J. Muller could be a producer and all that stuff, a filmmaker, is a life challenging. You're listening to my Everyday Agenda podcast from Angel Sound Productions and Spreaker Studios and YouTube Studios for this Everyday Agenda podcast, video podcast. Time to wrap this up with Rachel's thoughts, and here she is for now. Here she is for now. You just have to trust me because it won't take that long, about 13 minutes. So, shorten things up, you know. So here comes Rachel. Thank you, Rachel. Keep in touch our prayers for your mom and all that. So who knows? Now, before we say goodnight, here's my observation for you. Because coming on May 9th, because I'm coming home to Do Space Podcast Studios at 90th and Do Space Podcast Studios. This is the new Do Space Podcast Studios. You know, the second floor of the Omaha Central Library. And oh boy, I'm so excited about that as well. On May Ninth, you should check this out for yourself. So who knows? Give some of us. So, without further ado, because next month it's gonna be May. It's gonna be May 9th. It's gonna be huge because I'm moving up to the second floor, part of Deuce Space Podcast Studios. It's all part of Omaha Central Library at 72nd and Dodge, and I'm glad you did. So we're gonna do three episodes just before the season finale starts, coming in next month. So get just at the trust me about this one. So it's a huge studios with three mics, and so it's the round table, and so is the computer and all that stuff. It's gonna be huge. It's gonna be wonderful. So that means next weekend we're off. We're we're off on my everyday agenda podcasts about this one. But here's my observation. I got lots more stuff to do at Countryside Community Church for this Omaha Symphony Chorus performance next Saturday. It's called Something Old and Something New. All kinds of music, including Durflay's Requiem and all kinds of stuff. March, March, Simon Spester's friends called Blue Notes. It's gonna be here. So it's Alex Ritter, and you gotta enjoy it as much as what we all do. Starts at 7 o'clock, 7:30. You know what it is, 7:30 at Countryside Community Church at 131st Faith Plaza. You know the Tri Faith campus, and it's gonna be huge. If you want more information, go to Omaha Symphony Chorus.org. It's the website. So it's Facebook page as well for more tickets and all kinds of stuff. So it should be wonderful, and I meant to tell you this. It's all good about this, and, and, and you have no clue whatsoever. Trust me. And it's gonna be huge. Anyways, we gotta go. So let's take us home with this. Trust me about that as well. Here it is. So what do we learn for this week? What do we learn? I'll tell you what we're learning about. Rob Reiner's son Jake has a huge Substack essay about Nick Reiner's, yeah, to be civilized about this one, killing Rob Reiner, and so is his wife Michelle. And this could be a chilling parts of You Have No Clue. But what about Storage War Zone? Darren Sheets just passed away at the age of 67 because my dad was just watching a little bit of Storage Wars on A&E, and I know it really makes sense about this. Helen Keller's trade-in cards about just a thousands about dollars and all that stuff, and yeah, well, could be life challenging, but who knows who survives about this thing. Taco Sunday last Sunday at Resurrection. Oh wow, I could eat a whole of it. So who knows who survives about this one? So you just have to trust me about that as far as we're concerned. And also, and speaking of you know who, last Sunday's Omaha Central Library at 72nd and Dodge, and you'd be the first to know about checking out all those big huge books and all kinds of stuff. I bet there's a coffee shop inside the library. Yeah, Zen Coffee, the coffee company. It's the same way as at 25th and Farnham Street, so it's gonna be wonderful. But these three stories, you have three levels: first floor, second floor, and then the third floor, and all kinds of computers, including video studio and podcast studio, and you know I'm talking about Earth Day, and you know what I'm talking about, and all that stuff. So who knows who's the last about this one? All the history and all that stuff. Getting to know, I guess that R.J. Muller's using Hollywood skills for this new movie called Call Sign Courage, and to be keeping up this one. That's why the media tries to ignore it. Well, who knows? Who's less? Who's less? And finally, Rachel's thoughts about this and about her testimony about mental health and all kinds of stuff. And her mom, who knows, in the hospital. So who knows? So keep in touch our prayers for Rachel's mom and all that. All right. Anything else? Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot. Last week's, you guessed it, National Library Week, and so is the Volunteer Appreciation Week at VA Hospital. All kinds of pizza and kinds of stuff. I forgot to do this, so I'll get into that maybe next time we do this about this thing. You know, skip some less. Anyways, we gotta get out of here, and this is it, folks. The last time at Zelda Coffee House study rooms. I really appreciate the thought that counts. So, thank you, Zozo Coffee House Baristas, for making this possible. Who knows, skip some less. Anyways, Facebook and follow LHMusic at Facebook.com and Twitter.com, and so is all the social media websites. And you know my username, LH Music Time. And check out the website, lhmusictime.6.wixsite.com/everyday agenda podcast. And you can check out the podcast, download it, and listen to it on the iHeartRadio app, all into Apple Podcasts and so podcast distributors, and you'll be glad you did. Well, that's it for now, and I'll be back in 2 weeks for the new Deep Space Podcast Studios, and it's gonna be huge or anything else, or and it's gonna be wonderful. So who knows who's left? So he's second and Dodge, second floor, Deep Space Podcast Studios. I cannot believe my eyes and ears because I am so excited to get inside Deep Space Podcast Studios, and you know what I'm saying. So it's been fun, but I gotta go, and you know who, and you know why. We're basically nice to people. Anyways, LH Music is about to sign out for God's blessings with all of you America out there. We will see you in 2 weeks inside New Space Podcast Studios. The new one is 32nd Dodge. We're the only everyday agenda podcast. Tune in again. And we're out the door. Bye bye. See ya. Everyday Agenda Podcast is a presentation of Angel Song Productions and Spreaker Studios and video podcasts from YouTube Studios.